to Wicked Wands Tarot. My name is Carmen, and today we've got a reading for you about somebody that is excited to be a little bit more independent. This could be somebody who's just gotten out of a relationship. This could be somebody who has achieved some sense of stability with regards to moving to a new place or starting a new job. But this is a willingness to put themselves out there, meet some new people. But with the Queen of Wands in the reverse, I do feel like there's a little bit of a warning here, letting this person know, yes, you're single, enjoy it, live it up, but be cautious because there's some not so great energy here. It could be somebody who's really insecure. It could be somebody who's a little bit jealous. Hey GP, how are you doing? But let's call in spirit with a little bit of wind chime time, and we can figure out what is going on here. I'm gonna set the goal at $15 for the tips today. And if we hit that, then I'm happy to do some personal questions at the end of today's reading. Hello, Key Controller, how are you doing? Otherwise, if you're interested in a personal reading, my email address is in the description box, and it's wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. You can also find information on what tiers are offered as far as joining the membership for the channel. I'm doing well, thank you. All right, this is the situations deck. I do think there's the single status available card in here, so we might see that come out. But the Nine of Pentacles in general is a card that speaks to someone making their own decisions or independence, right? Being your own person. Okay. So it does look like this is right after a breakup. So there's a love connection that went south. There is a sense of betrayal, but definitely feeling like it's time to move on and leave that in the past. A lesson has been learned here. So this would be for somebody who feels like they are absolutely prepared to leave this relationship in the past. There's no desire for reconciliation. To make things a little bit more complicated though, when you walk away from this person, when you decide that you're going to really enjoy being single, the person who has been leading you on or the person who kept making you wait is realizing that the love you offered was genuine, was true, and that they really did mess up by losing you. So this is really hitting another person like a Mack truck, right? This is difficult for them because they realize that you're serious and you really are going to move on. You really are going to live your own life without them. Hello, Deme, how are you doing? Hello, Divya. But whoever I'm reading for, congratulations to you, because I do feel like this Queen of Wands in the reverse is who you're walking away from. That's the energy where you're like, I don't want to deal with that anymore. You have had a change in your perspective, or you understand more clearly what you want in your life, and it's not going to be something you can get by staying in a relationship like this. So I do feel like that's helping you to be a bit more decisive or definitive about it, right? Hello, Jan, how are you doing? So we've got searching online, looking for info and records. This person that you've decided to move on from, that you've decided to let go of, is trying to find some sort of information or gain access somehow to your social media. So you could have someone trying to catfish you. Just a little bit of a warning. Oops. This is the Tattoo Tarot. We've got the King of Pentacles, the Seven of Swords in the reverse, and the Seven of Wands. Yeah, there's security or happiness that you're able to build for yourself because you don't have to deal with the drama that comes with trying to figure out whether or not somebody's being honest with you. So this is your energy. It doesn't matter what your gender is. You're coming through as the King of Pentacles because you've chosen to make the changes necessary to build something more stable in your life, make changes to improve upon your money or your mental health situation. And as a result, you feel more grounded. You feel like you're more in control over things, right? Hello, Samurai. Hello, Rahul. I hope that changes for you, Tim. Yeah, be careful. We do like to play whack-a-mole around here. Hello, Marcus. How are you doing? Hello, Tim from England. How are you? 10 of Wands. Knight of Wands. There's a lot of fire energy, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. But I have to like high five you because you did have quite the mission here, or quite the experience with this person playing games, trying to make it seem like they were going to do right by you. But you ended up calling it or walking away earlier than they expected you to. They thought that they still had a little bit of time to play games or convince you to choose them. And you've decided to end the connection. You've decided to move on. So this is why we had that 9 of Pentacles at the beginning. You are more independent than you have been for a while. You've let somebody go. Even if you're not like, even if you weren't dating them exclusively or officially, you've decided to no longer like hold space for them, right? Hello, James. Hello, AE. How are you doing? Hello, Philippe. How are you? Hey, Lee. How's your day going? Hello, Steven. What's going on? We've got Page of Swords in the reverse, the 4 of Cups, and the 10 of Pentacles. They didn't believe you. They really didn't believe that you were going to walk away and mean it this time, or they really didn't think that you had it in you to pursue something different or focus on yourself. And it wasn't easy. With the 4 of Cups, we do have these tears, right? I do feel like it's been emotional. It's been difficult. But you're starting to realize that there's a lot of possibility, a lot of dreams that could still come true. They don't have to all include this particular person or this particular plan. So I do feel like there's a sense of calm or relief because there are other ways this could go, right? There's new and exciting options. Hey, Darnell, thank you. I hope you're having a good day. Hello, Wasim. We've got the King of Cups, Knight of Swords, and the Ace of Wands in the reverse. So there's this hope, or this like, I'm crossing my fingers, and maybe, just maybe, if I do something to get this person's attention, I could get them to change their mind. This may have already happened for you, or it could be in the near future, but this is someone testing your resolve. They're wanting to see if you really are going to ignore them, or they're wanting to see if there's any possibility that you kind of give in or go back on your word or change your mind, right? This is the Nightmare Before Christmas. Oh, did I miss dude? I must have 600 seconds. Where's dude? I don't see him, but I see evidence. Yeah, you ain't wrong, Lucas. Hey, dude, what's going on? Hello, Hot Chips. LOL. Hello, Mr. Times. What's happening? Let's try to stay on topic, shall we? Hello, Samir. How are you? Hello, Esmeralda. Be careful, you guys. You're playing whack-a-mole. It better be worth it. Dude's pretty quick. You've got Two of Presents, Two of Pentacles, and the Ace of Candles, which is the Ace of Wands, and the Ten of Potions, or the Ten of Cups. I think whoever I'm reading for, you have determined that it's not really your responsibility to make things better with that connection in the past. If they were unable or unwilling to do right by the healing that they needed to do, or do right to make amends with you, I feel like you are pretty comfortable with what you did, right? You were able to figure this out, approach it the way that you thought was best. And even if you love this person, if they can't approach you in that same respectful or considerate manner, then I feel like you decided it wasn't really worth your time, right? Thank you, Laura. How are you doing? What else do we have? Knight of Candles or Knight of Wands in the reverse. Three of Needles or Three of Swords. Ace of Potions in the reverse. That would be the Ace of Cups in the reverse. Heartbreak, a loss of love. Regretting how I acted because I was impulsive or I acted immaturely. Feeling like maybe it really is final this time, or there's nothing that would be able to fix what is broken. Three of Potions or Three of Cups in the reverse, and the Five of Needles or Five of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, I think this is someone going back and forth trying to figure out, have I actually ruined it? Is this person gone for good? Have they decided to completely forget me? And I would go with, right now, it looks like yes. Hey, Bellum, how's it going? Hello, Ricky. How are you doing? We've got the Five of Candles, which is the Five of Wands, but it's in the reverse. You've done a lot of thinking. You've done a lot of reviewing and realizing that there are maybe some messages or intuitive signs that you ignored, some things that you forgave or looked the other way on because it was just easier. But now you're starting to feel like maybe you've spent too much time trying to make this work with this person. Maybe it's time to move along. So Four of Needles or Four of Swords, and the Knight of Presents or Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Instead of looking at this as something that's been delayed, we have somebody who looks at it as something that you heal from. It didn't work out. It didn't go where I was hoping it would be, but I'm not going to let that stress me out. So I think this is somebody that's basically saying, not everything is going to go the way that I want, right? Not everything is guaranteed. I gave this person the opportunity or the space to be able to, connect with me in a way that would work, and they chose not to. So if that's how they choose things, or if that's how they want it to go, then that's how it's gonna go, I guess. So like a little bit of a pivot, right? Okay, now let's see, what else can I get into? Hello, Forsaken. Hello, Mohit. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Army Girl. Yeah, thank you for the likes. I appreciate that. So we've got the Four of Quills, which we just got, the Four of Swords. In Pace Resquiat. I think that's how you say it. In Pace Resquiat. I think I missed that C at the end. Which is basically rest in peace, right? Which, rest in peace, Ozzy, too. It's over. We had the Done card. We had, what was it, the Ten of Swords. Like, this is just, sorry, like, I gave the time that I felt like I could, and it just didn't work out. But at a certain point, you're just going to have to make a choice, right? A wrong is unredressed when retribution overtakes its redresser. It is equally unredressed when the avenger fails to make himself felt as such to him who has done the wrong. So this is an issue where mistakes were repeated or apologies didn't really mean anything. There wasn't enough changed behavior, right? Sorry, you want me to bring my candle closer? Is this better? It's just because I have cards everywhere, so where I can put my candles is kind of limited. Yeah, Mohit or anyone really, avoid the repeat messages because that will result in a timeout. What else do we have? I can conceive nothing more sublimating than the strange peril and novelty of an adventure such as this. May God grant that we succeed. So I didn't get what I wanted. The relationship that I fought for didn't end up working out, but that doesn't mean that I don't get to be happy. It just means that I have to go elsewhere, or that it's time for me to be open to other folks, maybe meet some new people, right? Hello, Nigel. LOL, key controller. Thank you, Salvador. How's it going, Raga? Memories, missing someone, regression, revisiting the past, and lucky break, good fortune, good things coming, and turning point. Look, when you decide to let go of somebody that you once loved, or maybe you still love to this day, it's not that you completely forget them. It's not that you, wish that you never met them, although some of you might. It's that you learn from that situation, you become a stronger person, you have a clear understanding of what you're willing to put up with and what you are not interested in. So because you've been decisive, because you've said, you know what, I think I deserve better than that, or that's not what I'm looking for, now there's a reward here for you. Now there's a sense of things happening, like you're in the right place at the right time to meet somebody that is a very important person in your life. So I would accept at least some of the invitations that you may be getting in the next couple of weeks, because there's a new person that's about to enter your life in a romantic sense. Somebody who is interested, and I feel like there is just a little bit of a risk that you might be distracted and not meet this person because of a competing offer to go out and party. So make your social choices wisely. I do feel like there is an offer to go out, maybe get drunk or go on a boat or whatever it is. It's a party, right? There's going to be people that let loose. Generally speaking, I would say that's probably a pretty good bet in terms of meeting someone. But this is saying you'll only meet more of the same energy if you do that like predictable way of meeting someone. So there's a different way that you meet this new person or this next love in your life. This is the Noisy Tarot. I know, I'm so glad he was able to do that. Apparently it was one of the most successful charity concerts of all time, if not the, right? Chariot. Knight of Cups in the reverse. King of Swords. The Magician in the reverse. They're losing their temper, spiraling, acting a little out of character. People might be asking what's going on with them, but it's because they know you've really left. It's because they know you really are not interested in playing any other games or trying to talk it out. They feel like no matter what they say, no matter what they do, it would not make any difference. You've effectively taken back your power. They have no ability to exert any control over you or influence you. So I do feel like for some of you, it's like a cord cutting or just a serious conversation that made it clear you are not interested in hearing from this person. No repeat messages, please. We've got the Queen of Wands in the reverse, which we did have at the beginning, and the Eight of Swords. I feel like this is that person from your past. They're feeling like they have zero options. With the Eight of Swords, you have somebody that is tied up, they're blindfolded, they're standing in front of a bunch of swords. They don't really know what they can do to get out of this situation. And it's because they weren't willing to do right by you. It's because maybe they were a little bit non-committal. Now they're worried about who you might meet or who else is interested in you. Hello, Bob. We've got the Moon in the reverse and the Knight of Swords again. Look, I feel like this is not the last, like I don't know if they're going to respect the fact that you want to be done with them. I do feel like they're going to potentially set up a catfish account, or that they are going to potentially find another person that can deliver a message to you. Maybe they're even going to just send you like snail mail or change their phone number. There's something that they want to try to get around whatever block or wall you have up between the two of you. Hello, Enigma. Hello, Ashan. How are you doing? Four of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles in the reverse. 10 of Wands. This is a little bit excessive, a little extra. I don't know if there's a lot of ego with this person from your past, but they feel like you should be loyal to them even though they have not been loyal to you. It's extremely stressing them out because they have always felt a bit possessive of you. They can't believe that you would actually go out there and consider other people. Hey, Lemonade, how are you doing? Well, that definitely helps, dude. Hello, Tiff. What's going on? Jay, I will take personal questions at the end of this reading if we get over the $15 tip mark. So we've got the Four of Swords, the Queen of Swords, wow, okay. So Four of Swords, Queen of Swords. I have finally healed from the situation that I dealt with. I understand now why you treated me the way that you treated me, and that's why these boundaries are here. That's why this block is in place. That's why I'm not interested in seeing you again. That's why I'm out and like interested in meeting new people. So I do feel like there is a respectful communication of it, but it is like a, this is just how it is, right? We've got the Eight of Wands, the Star in the reverse, and the Empress. This is somebody who feels like things are moving too quickly. They feel like they thought they had more time to make things right between the two of you. They thought they would be able to heal what needed to be healed before you would move on. They really didn't feel like you would be able to love yourself more than you love them. Thank you. I think that's a pretty good idea, actually. You don't understand tarot? I would first of all say that if you're trying to understand tarot and reading for yourself, a big part of that is when you read for yourself, you see what you want to see in the cards. You want to validate the things, like the outcomes that you want. It would maybe be easier to learn, if that's what you're trying to do, if you read for others, because then you can also get validation on things that you might not know, right? Hello, Yusuf. How are you doing? This is not a dating site, my friend, so you're on warning right now. Alexis, I do not do palm readings. Tarot. So we've got paranoid and cuffing season, cautious, insecure, guarded, single and ready to mingle, and ready for a relationship and on the hunt. This is their energy watching you decide that you're ready to meet new people. They already know that there's going to be individuals that are interested in you just based on your looks or the energy that you bring to the table, right? They know that there's going to be competition. What they're worried about, though, is if there's competition that they feel would really put them to shame. They're trying to see what caliber of person is approaching you or is voicing their interest, right? Laura, you're funny. So we've got the penny pinching card and light bulb moment. I feel like this penny pinching card is less about money. It could definitely indicate we've got somebody who's been trying to fix their financial woes, but I also feel like somebody was stingy with their time. So if somebody was trying to claim that they were interested in pursuing something serious with you, but they still kept their distance, maybe made a lot of excuses, then you finally came to this realization, or you stopped being in denial about the fact that they were just not putting forth the effort that you deserve. Puzzled, confused, perplexed, conflicted. Brick wall. You've really confused this person. There's something about the past between the two of you that made them a little bit more arrogant or confident that they would always be able to connect with you or call on you when they wanted to, but they aren't used to reaching out and getting a brick wall. You are able to just let go and ignore, right? They're not used to that. They're a little bit shocked. This is the Golden Lenormand. Let's see what else we've got for you. Hello, Masriati. How are you doing? So we've got the Scythe, which is number 10. And the book. The book talks about wisdom. It talks about secrets. I think you decided that it was time to let go of this love interest from your past because they were always so secretive. They didn't want to be honest with you about what was going on, and because they kept you in the dark, you felt like you knew better, right? If you always keep me guessing, or if you make me feel like I don't know where we stand, then I'm just going to assume that means you've rejected me and keep it moving, right? I'll find somebody who does want to make it clear where we stand. Or not, that's okay too. Hello, JK. Hello, Martha. Hello, Jeremy. Hello, Famous Seamus. Hello, JC. How's it going? For those of you asking personal questions, if we get to $15 tip or higher, I will take personal questions at the end of the reading. Otherwise, I do have personal readings offered via email, and that's in the description box for you. So we've got number 8, which is the coffin, and number 6, which is the clouds. This talks about ambiguity. You have removed what they consider to be kind of like their safety between the two of you, which is not having a clear understanding of where the two of you are. This could be somebody who really kind of operates in the dark or feels more comfortable if things are left undefined. If we are not exclusive, then you can't get mad at me if I'm flirting with somebody else. If I don't specify how I feel, then there aren't any expectations associated with it. It's because they didn't want to be direct or transparent or clear with you about what was going on that it made sense for you to just end things and focus on yourself or heal from this connection. This is the Black Tarot. Hello, Vera. How are you doing? What else do we have? Ten of Wands, Queen of Cups, and the Eight of Cups. Yeah, I mean, your departure, it puts them in a situation where they really have to ask themselves if they're willing to do something to salvage this, if they're willing to fight for this, or if they should just let you keep walking, because they feel like you stole their move. They feel like you did what they always do. You walked away, or you ended it when they would have, or you took that power away from them, right? Especially if they like to purposefully leave things undefined or up in the air so that they can always come back around to you. You made it clear and said, no, actually, we're just gonna be done with this. Thanks, though. Hey, Tiana, how are you doing? I'm good, how are you? Hello, Amruta, how are you doing? Hanged Man in the reverse and the Moon. Yeah, so they refused to change their perspective on things. They felt like they were still in control, or that they could avoid approaching things in a respectful way with you. They didn't notice that you were going through changes, that you were not waiting for them in that regard, right? If they're going to choose to avoid their healing, that doesn't mean that you have to. And that's what enabled you to see that there were greener fields elsewhere, that there were other people that are interested, that there are people who might follow through on their promises or actually invest in the connection with you, right? Aw, I'm sending you a big hug, Dr. Marilyn. And I'm proud of you because that means you're choosing yourself. What else do we have? Five of Spears or the Five of Pentacles. It's cold where they are. They don't like being left out. They don't like feeling like there's nothing they could say to get you to come back around. Knight of Spears or Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Seven of Wands. They feel like now you are protecting yourself against them, that you are on to them, or you feel like they're just playing games. And they are a little slow to admit that you are right. And I would have got away with it too if it wasn't for you kids. This is the truth is. Hello, Jackie. Ooh, I do love Wisconsin. I had the best Bloody Mary of my life in Milwaukee. What was that place called? Sobelman's? Is it Sobelman's? I don't know. You're from Wisconsin, that doesn't mean you have to have every place in Milwaukee memorized. Did I say hello to Aqua Beauty? Hello, Elias. How are you doing? So we've got filing papers. This is that end of the relationship. It doesn't have to mean that you were in a marriage. It doesn't have to mean that you were exclusive. But it does mean that you're done waiting around for this person to do right by you because they've demonstrated they're not really putting in the effort that they should. Did I say hello to Darnell? Hello. Yeah, there's a sense here that you've acknowledged you were settling or you were accepting behavior or treatment that is not up to par. It's not respectful, or it was intentionally manipulative. And there's somebody else out there that I think you would be able to make a very strong pair with. You would maybe even work together, or for some of you, it's like renovating houses, maybe even writing a book. But there's someone who is, dare I say, like the other half, someone who is ambitious and also compassionate, wants to make you laugh, right? But this person from your past, they wanted to be able to keep you treating them like you were in a relationship, but they weren't willing to offer you that same energy back, right? Oh, that's awesome. Hello, AGF. How are you doing? Thank you, Tiana. Hello, Marco. So this person's missing you, and I think maybe starting to realize that you're serious, that you really are walking away, or you're choosing a different path for yourself because you don't feel like this is somebody who takes you seriously. This is the Overthinker's Oracle. Thank you, Tiana. Yes, I definitely appreciate the likes and the subscribes. Did I say hello to Jackie? Oh, I'm glad you got away from that. We've got complicated. You don't say. Maybe they like to keep it complicated, so it seemed a little bit too difficult for you to just walk away. They're still hopeful that maybe they can come back around or reach out and you would actually give them the time of day and they could explain themselves, because they know they've been playing games and they know that you're irritated or fed up with those games. The grass was greener because it was fake. I didn't have to water it. They were playing like both sides of the fence, right? They wanted to be able to act like they were in a relationship with you and have that companionship, but they also didn't want to have to be loyal or answer to you, right? This is someone who chose either the single life or chose somebody who didn't have as much as far as demands or expectations or standards. Now they're realizing that was not the right choice either. That, yeah, maybe it was easier, but they still feel like you're the best thing that they've had in their life. They feel like you were the person that showed them real love and they couldn't prioritize it. I know who you are to me. I know we are supposed to be together. And, oh, thank you, Aqua Beauty. I appreciate that. And it's so hard to resist you. So they were hoping you would find it difficult to resist them, in part because they feel like it's so difficult to resist you. They know that there's a lot of chemistry between the two of you, but I feel like they're seeing now that they've overestimated it, that you may believe that you could find chemistry elsewhere. Hey, Carrie. Thank you, dude. All right, y'all, we got 5 more, and then I can take personal questions. We've got unrequited love. They're seeing now that you're moving on. They know that you're over it. They're going to try to do something like big gesture-wise, right? What can I do to promise you something and then follow through with the actions? But I don't know, it would be, if I were in your position, it would be pretty difficult for me to trust this person because they have definitely broken promises in the past before. Hey Josh, how's Ohio? My favorite part of Ohio is it Dublin? Is it North Dublin? Now I'm like second guessing myself. I don't know. There's this really cool hotel out there and my favorite pho restaurant. Anyways, I hope Ohio is doing well. So, hey Renee, how are you doing? They're saying that everything you said was true even though they never admitted to it. And I feel like for some of you, this is about emotions, and it could also be in reference to things that you suspected they were getting into or things that they maybe were being dishonest about, and they got frustrated with your intuition. Did I say hello to Lemonade? What's happening? Oh, I hope you get to relax now. Hello, Jay. Aw, thank you, Lucas. All right, y'all. That means that in a couple minutes, I'm going to start taking personal questions for you, okay? Shawarma. I might have to go visit. We have, I'm addicted to your energy. There is something that is so like calming or soothing, healing about being around you, but at a certain point, they start to realize that they owe this positive energy back to you, right? Or they start to feel guilty for how they've handled the connection. So it was never a consistent emotion for them. It was more of a roller coaster. And so they felt like maybe it would make more sense if they just chose somebody else. If they went to, you know, someone that was less demanding or less, like more of a doormat. I hate to put it that way, but that's what's coming through. All right, y'all, shall we get to the personal questions? Let me get, we'll go with the Tarot of the Nile. And thank you for the tips, y'all. Oh, thank you, Johnny. You're awesome. Hello, Cody. Hello, Hunting. What's going on? Yeah, so when you ask a question, put it in all caps, but do not repeat them. I do have some pretty awesome moderators that will help me, and I do this fairly often, so if you don't get your question answered today, maybe tomorrow. Aqua Beauty, is Twin Flame still with wife? Thank you, Lemonade. Does that mean you rejoined, or are you getting like a big congratulations? It's pretty awesome, though. All right, is the Twin Flame still with their wife? No. It's kind of complex, though. I feel like there's some unpredictable energy here. So there could be situations where people are talking about it and then they think about it. Maybe I should get back together. So as of right now, no, but there is sometimes some flirtation with the idea of reconciling. That's awesome. Yes, questions in all caps. When is the stalking going to end for Lucas? When is the stalking going to end? Queen of Wands, Four of Wands in the reverse, and the Moon. This feels to me like the number 4 is important, so I would say within 4 weeks, because Moon is also lunar cycle, which would be 4 weeks. But I do feel like there's something here that you do to finalize this or bring this in or resolve this. So in 4 weeks, do a cord cutting or do a cleansing, have a salt bath. But I do feel like it's within the next 4 weeks. And you have a part to play in that. Leah is asking, did I embarrass my husband today? Let's see. Yes, it does look like it, but with the High Priestess and the King of Cups, I see you being able to smooth things over. So give him space to talk about, and I see you being able to patch things up. It's a big deal that you're even able to, you know, just try to consider his feelings, right? Some people miss that. Is the ocean a good enough salt bath? I would say that counts, yes. I like it. Is my wife seeing someone else other than me for Patrick? Let's see what we get for you. Yes. Is there a physical interaction? Yes. I feel once. I am sorry that that is the answer, but I do feel like the intuition that you possess is going to guide you because of the star on the Magician. So sending you a hug. It do be like that sometimes, Lee. Hello, Jax. How are you doing? Just Ange, I think, asking if there is hope for a relationship. Yes, but there's something that you need to change. Something that you are doing that is a block. So, for example, you might need to put yourself in more social situations so that you meet new people. It could be as simple as quitting smoking because maybe there are too many people who consider that a deal breaker. There's some habit, routine, or pattern that once you change, you actually be able to put yourself in the right place, the right time to meet somebody you would be in a relationship with. Oops, hold on. Where'd you go? Oh, you got it. Almost got Tiana. Right? Janet is asking, was he using me? Let me get to a different tarot deck first. And that was Janet, right? Yeah, Janet. So for Janet, was he using her? Five of Wands in the reverse. No. He feels a sense of loss right now. I think that there's something else going on in his life that he's not told you. Yeah, I feel like he's dealing with something that he's either embarrassed about or he's not allowed, like it's a private matter, right? Maybe he can't talk about it. So I feel like there's something else to the story that you don't know yet. Alana would like to know if she will get a job from either of the two jobs. I see not these two, but there's something else that comes up for you. So we've got the Four of Cups being in the reverse. It's like cast your line out one more time, because I see the first two as these two, and then this being the one that's supposed to go through for you. So there's another opportunity. Make sure you don't stop applying yet. Or don't put your eggs all in those baskets, because it could be that it's a better offer, or it could be that that's the offer that actually comes through. Naomi would like to know, is he for me? It does look like this is a pretty solid connection, but that there's a lot of stress here. The Ten of Wands is about somebody who is overwhelmed. This is saying almost like an ultimatum is required, or there's a sacrifice that needs to be made. So if you're not going to change this behavior, then things need to end. But if you're able to change that behavior, either you or the person you're dealing with, then there is a possibility to make this work. But it's like there's a barrier here that has to be addressed. Sarathia asks if my crush likes me back. Will he make a move? And thank you for the likes and the subscribes, by the way. I really do appreciate that. Yes, I do feel he's going to make a move. We've got the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Wands, but there could be a little bit of a delay right now. I do think that it's like this person's really picky. Like, I have a plan or I have a strategy. I want to make sure it's the right moment, and then I'm going to make my move. We can agree to disagree, VH, but I hope you're having a good day nonetheless. Dr. Marilyn would like to know, will he apologize? I don't see an apology anytime soon. I think it's an apology you end up waiting for. So there's healing and change in terms of like his perspective that has to happen. And then with the Six of Swords, I see it improving. So yes, eventually, but not in the near future. There is some sort of compassion that needs to hit this person first, right? Oh, you're so welcome, Patrick. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for the likes and the subscribes. Nausicaa would like to know if they will get the job. So we've got the Eight of Swords and the Knight of Wands. So Nausicaa, it looks like there is a pretty solid chance you're going to get the job, but it may be that there is something not super permanent about it. It kind of feels to me like what you are meant to do is, if it makes sense, accept this job offer, but keep your line open, right? If there's another opportunity to interview, still take it. You might need a backup, or you might find a better job offer. Now look, if you had talked about this 20 years ago, I might have said, oh, that's really unfair to the person who's hiring you. I don't care, okay? Corporations, big companies, even some small companies that I've worked for will screw you over and not feel bad about it. I think it's important to be civil. I think it's important to be professional and respectful. But this is saying if there is something not 100% accurate that they tell you about your job, or you find out that the circumstances aren't right, don't feel bad about looking for something else. Sorry, I got on my pedestal a little bit for that one. All right, thank you for the likes and the subscribes, you guys. Grant would like to know, will I find love soon? Ace of Cups is in the reverse. Not soon, Grant. Is that the 3? Three of Pentacles in the reverse. You have somebody getting all blockety in your life? Like an ex or a jealous friend? What is this? Grant, I don't know if you've got like a friend who swats people away, or if you've got like an ex that gets a little bit opinionated about you, but there is somebody here who is blocking this, and I feel like you look at them like they're supposed to be in your life. Yeah, this is somebody who talks negatively about you behind your back or who lies to your face. So I'm gonna go ahead and advise you to consider who's in your life, and then booty. Bye. See you later. Aw, thank you, Lemonade. You're so sweet. Christina would like to know if he is interested in another person. I assume that's what you mean by another. Three of Swords. Yes, I do believe that's accurate. Taking action towards that, though. I think there's some flirtation happening. We have the King of Wands, which is somebody who is bold or does pursue things. So, yes, I do think that your spidey senses are picking up on something. And I do feel like it's something you could talk to this person about. And I don't normally feel that way. I do think that there could be an argument, but I think that this is somebody who already is feeling guilty or doesn't really want to follow through with something. So it might be worth bringing it up, even if you know it's going to be a little bit awkward. All right, let's get to a different tarot deck for you all. This is the Masonic Tarot. Hello, Prem. How are you doing? Hello, Grind. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Will your lady friend come back after the argument? Let's see. Seven of Swords, Eight of Swords. Yeah, but there's something that needs to be out in the open. Now, this could be... All right, I'm going to be real with you. This looks to me like there's something you need to be honest about. I'm not calling you a liar. I just feel like there's something that maybe you held back or something that you haven't shared the full story, and you feel a little bit trapped regarding this. Maybe there's other people that are involved and you feel like you can't be like sharing their business, but there's something here that if she comes back around, it's imperative, like the only way the bridge gets built to that next chapter for you all is if this truth comes out, if this, you know, like you have the clean slate, right? Hello, Cody. How are you doing? Thank you, Tiana. Thank you, dude. Patrick would like to know if he would get a job soon. Yes, you will. Chariot is the fastest moving energy in the deck. And this is saying you will get a job soon. It may be something that's a little bit different than what you expect. Hunting, I had seen you ask a question. Could you repeat it for me once more? Hey, Hammer, how are you doing? Hello, Mayhair. Hunting, did you have that question? I could try to look for it, but it's difficult to scroll up through all of the comments. All right, I'm gonna have to answer someone else's then. Carrie says, should I go ghost? No. Temperance in the reverse. It would create more frustration or it would irritate the situation, I do feel like there's a conversation that can happen to resolve this. All right, well, I tried for hunting. I think maybe hunting disappeared. Yeah, I feel that. Hello, James. How are you doing? Ria says, when am I going to find my true love? Ria, when am I going to when am I going to find my true love? Four months. This is interesting. Okay, I feel like there's going to be some sort of professional or work geared type event or something where people are trying to network. You may not be there for networking, but other people are. But there's somebody here who's like abnormal, or like they weren't on the guest list, or they're not like all the others. So what I'm seeing in my mind is being able to connect or have a conversation about all the other people who are different from you. So I don't know if it's someone you actually work with, or I don't know if it's somebody that you just randomly run into, but I feel like you commiserate over a situation, like maybe even judging other people. There you are, hunting. Will my ex-girlfriend come back? Will we get married? It's technically two questions, so I'm going for will we get married? Yes, but there is some sadness here that needs to be dealt with. This page of chalices, or sorry, knave. This page. It's very sad. I mean, if you look at the card, you can see the sadness on her face. So I don't know if there's some grieving going on, but I do feel like this is something that needs to be addressed, and that is impacting the ability to connect with others right now. So, which makes sense, right? We all need our space to be able to let go of that, right? Hey, James, how are you doing? Hello, Ushan, how are you? Thank you, Ice Libra. Will the FaceTime go well? Let's see. Yes, it does look like there's a sweet reunion of sorts and some change in the energy. So if there was some awkwardness or some concern over how someone might treat you or whether or not it would be respectful, I think that will evaporate pretty quickly. This does look like some good intentions for you. Hello, Diana. How do I keep him away? I mean, I feel like I don't need to give the obvious answers, so let's see how we get a response. So we have Chariot in the reverse and the Four of Swords in the reverse. What I'm seeing in my mind is somebody chasing another person, and then that person hiding, and that other person still chasing, trying to figure out where somebody is. I'm not gonna lie, it could be suggesting to you that it's time to make your Instagram private, or delete your Facebook, or change your phone number. But this is saying basically you disappear. They don't have a way to figure you out because you've made a change, or because you made a bold strategy, right? Or a bold move. But I do feel like you're able to sidestep this person by outmaneuvering them. So if you're thinking about doing something just a little bit drastic, that's probably confirmation for you to go ahead and do that, because they're not going to give up anytime soon. All right. let's do one more question because we're already at 65 minutes. That's fair. Michael, let me see what message you get then. You don't have to ask a specific question if you don't want to. Michael the Capricorn, what message do we have? Michael, you are dealing with, or you will shortly be dealing with, a message or communication from somebody who is lying to you. This could be somebody who is asking for a loan. This could be asking to borrow your car. This could be saying, I can't pay you that money that I owe you yet. But I do feel like whoever this is, your gut is going to be telling you that they're lying to you, and you are absolutely right. I do feel like that informs you on how you're going to interact with this person going forward, including possibly cutting this person off for good or refusing to offer to help them in a situation they seem to be a little bit desperate regarding. So if you get that little like sign that they're lying to you, you are absolutely right. All right. Thank you everyone for the likes and the subscribes and the tips. I love you guys. You're the best. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you on the next reading. Toodles.